Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Vibhor Shrivastava and today I've got Charbel back on my channel after a long time. Charbel is a website, crickblog.net, where you can find out amazing cricketing articles, fantasy tips and much more. So do check it out. And today with Charbel, we're gonna discuss about World Test Championship Final. We have entered into June, and on 7 June, World Test Championship Final will be taking place as Australia will be taking on India. So Charbel, welcome back on my channel.
Thanks for having me back. Yeah, it's good to be back with you and talking about the final. I can't wait for it.
Yeah, we can't wait for the final, and we don't. India don't have Rishabh Pant or Jasprit Bumrah for this final, but I think Australia won't be underestimating India this time.
No, we can't underestimate India. I'm sick of losing to India. When you look at the when you look at the record over the last 5 years, India have had the wood over us. That's the fact. So definitely we can't take India lightly. We'd be very silly if we did that. So yeah, we're going to have to be very good right from the first ball because it's only one game, one off game.
Yes.
There's no room for error. You have to be good. So yeah, it'll be a really interesting game, I think.
Yes. So, guys, we will talk about how Australia's squad has shaped up for this tournament, for this final, how they have prepared. We will talk about India too. We will discuss how their squad is shaping up and how India is preparing for the finale. I guess most of our players have reached now. Ajinkya Rahane, Jadeja, once were the remaining, and they have also reached. So, without wasting any time, let us discuss about Australia's squad, which they finalized, I guess, 3 days ago. I've got this picture. Pat Cummins will be leading the team once again. The question regarding is with the fast bowlers that they have got Hazelwood, Mitchell Stark, Pat Cummins, and then Scott Boland. So there are reports that they
Yeah,
might play all four or three or four.
I think they'll play three of those guys, and then you got Cameron Green as another
Yeah.
pace bowling option, and then you got to have Nathan Lyon there. I think conditions have been pretty dry in London the last maybe few weeks, from what we've been seeing in the reports. So I think the pitch could take spin later in the game. So you've got to have a spinner there, and you got four. That's why Cameron Green is in the team. That's his value. So you can play you can play the spinner and have him as the fourth fast bowler. And I'm hearing word that Scott Boland might play over Josh Hazelwood, just because Hazelwood has been short on cricket in the last few months. So we'll wait and see what happens there. But I think all in all, we look relatively settled, which is positive.
Opening with David Warner or Travis had to open or anyone else because Matt Renshaw was
No,
part of.
it'll be Warner. Warner will open. They'll give him a chance. That's one of the worries. I think David Warner's record in England. I think Siraj has a decent record against him as well. So if Warner can get Australia off to a great start, that's going to be important. And then Travis Head will bat at 5, and then Usman Khawaja open with David Warner. I think that's the way they'll go.
Yes, so it will be Warner and Khwaja opening the batting, and Labuschagne Smith at 3-4. At number 5, we have got Travis Head. At
Yep.
6, Green and then Carey, followed by the bowling all rounders and Nathan Lyon. Okay, so that squad looks perfect, but do you believe that this team can beat India at the Oval?
Yeah, it can. There's a chance, and I'm feeling a little bit optimistic. Not overly confident, but optimistic because I think a few more of Australia's players have had more preparation. In terms
Yeah.
of red ball cricket, a lot of India's players are coming off the IPL, so adjusting from a big tournament like that, so much T20 cricket, so much T20 practice. You only get like 10 days between that getting to England and then acclimatizing to the condition. It's a similar problem to what Australia had when we toured India earlier in the year. All of our players arrived only 9 or 10 days before the series, and then by the time the series started, it was clear to see we were really underprepared. So I wonder if that's going to happen with India this time, where they haven't been playing enough red ball cricket. They're coming in off a T20 tournament, and whether they can sort of cope with the moving ball and all that sort of stuff against Australia. So yeah, that'll be interesting. So that's why I'm feeling optimistic regarding that. But as I've tweeted before, you cannot be taking India lightly. You can't write them off. India have shown against Australia over the last 5 years that no matter what the situation is, they can come out and get a win. So yeah, but that's my thoughts on it.
Okay. So yeah, you said that preparation for Australia has been a little bit better in India
Yeah.
because Steve Smith and Labuschagne were part of the county cricket. Anyone else also was part of the county, or only Smith and Labuschagne were there?
Just having a look. I'm trying to remember who. I know. I mean, Michael Neese has been killing it, but he's not in the squad. I think. I know a lot of the guys have been doing a red ball training. So I think the guys that not have been playing in the IPL, at least they're doing preparation in terms of red ball cricket in that sense. But yeah, it's been Smith and Labuschagne getting that red ball practice in the county, and I think Marcus Harris, who's also in the squad, has been doing well in county as well. So
Yeah.
um, yeah,
So as you said that Warner will be starting, but Marcus Harris want to start with Khwaja.
I think they'll start with Warner.
Okay. So Warner and Khwaja will be starting. Okay. Warner averages just 26 in England and
Yeah,
he
we
never
know.
scored.
Yeah, yeah. We know his struggles in England, and he hasn't been good in Test cricket for a while. So yeah, but I think they'll back him. They picked him in the squad, and I don't think they would have picked David Warner in the squad if they didn't have visions of playing him in the 11. So they'll probably play him, and if he doesn't perform in the World Test Championship final, maybe the first one or two Ashes tests, then they'll look to replace him.
Okay, and do you have any update regarding Pat Cummins because he went from India because of her mother's
Yeah,
uh, sickness and then she died. But do you have any update on Pat Cummins that how his preparation has gone through?
yeah, I think he's back in the swing of things. There was an interview recently. He was talking about, how he dealt with the situation, how difficult it was. But then he said his focus now is going to switch on to the World Test Championship final, the Ashes, and of course the One Day World Cup to come. So there's a lot of big games coming up. So I think he's ready to go. And him as a bowler and importantly as a captain as well, we're going to need him to deliver tactically, and then as well, of course, getting wickets with the ball. He's got a good record against Virat Kohli in tests,
Yeah,
so we need
yeah,
that to happen in the final. We need to see that that continuing in the final, hopefully from an Aussie perspective. So yeah, can't wait.
yeah. I think even Hazelwood has good records against Virat and Ajinkya also.
Yeah, and hopefully conditions at the Oval might suit the seam bowlers, and then Cummins is the kind of bowler who can really take advantage of that. And if we pick Hazelwood, even if we pick Scott Boland, I think he could be very handy in those conditions as well. So yeah, I think look, the fast bowling stock's looking pretty good. And I think compared to India, I think India have got a few more questions about how they sort of organise their bowling attack. I think that's another worry perhaps for India, is that do you go with Ashwin and Jadeja, or do you leave Ashwin out and play a seamer? So I think Australia in that sense are a little bit more settled because you have Cameron Green, the all-rounder there. You can play that spinner with confidence.
Australia have got the pace bowling all rounder, and if we talk about India, then we have got Ravindra Jadeja as a spin bowling all rounder, and then question will be Ashwin or Jadeja. I will personally prefer Jadeja, and his performance in English condition and overall his performance has been wonderful. So even we can go with him as a batter also if needed. Only
Yeah, definitely.
batting that we can have Jadeja. So what is your call? What is your call over Jadeja and Ashwin or both?
I think probably the India, you got to make a call closer to the game to see what the conditions are like. But I think India will have the 2021 final in their mind. They played both the
Yeah.
spinners, and the conditions suited the fast bowlers when it was very gloomy, cloudy. There was movement around. I think conditions will be a bit different this time. I think hopefully it'll be drier, so you might look for two spinners. But then, your three seamers have to be very good. So who do you pick as the third fast bowler? That's going to be very important because Shami and Siraj definitely locked in. But who's the third seamer if you play the two spinners? So you've got to make a call closer to the game. But it's very important India make the right decision and read the conditions properly.
Okay. So what would
What
you
would you do? What would you do out of curiosity? What are you thinking?
I am thinking to go with four fast bowlers, which includes Mohammad Shami, Siraj, Shardul, and Jaidev Unadkat because Unadkat will give us the left arm seamer
Left
angle, and
arm. Yep.
his performance has been wonderful with the red ball. If we talk about domestics, he has done really well. So I think I will give him a chance in the finale. Instead of
Yep.
Umesh Yadav, I will go with Unadkat, and Shardul Thakur will be a sure starter for me with all his performances and with the bat in English conditions, and has a good record against Australia too in the two test matches he played. So I will
Yeah.
go with four seamers and Ravindra Jadeja, the batter plus bowler. And for the keeper section, we have KS Bharat or Ishan Kishan, so it is surely KS Bharat starting.
Yep. Okay.
Yes. So, like, what will be your call? You said the pitch could get dry, so India may think about Ashwin Jadeja both, and then three seamers. So, who could be your three seamers, and your thoughts over it?
Definitely Siraj and Shami. Or the third, so that's a hard one. Like,
Yes.
there's a case for all of them. Like Shardul Thakur has the batting, but if you've got Ashwin and Jadeja there, you bat deep enough anyway. I think.
Yeah,
I
but
think
with
Umesh.
the issue with Ashwin is that his overseas batting is not good enough. Like we played him in South Africa conditions when Jadeja wasn't there, and Ashwin did not step up.
Yeah, but Ashwin's the kind of player who he can deliver. You know, I wouldn't write him off because of that series. If you have him in the side, he can definitely contribute with the bat, and you hope that he does. Yeah, it's a hard one. I don't know. Maybe because there's a case for all of them. They can go Unadkat, as you said, the left arm angle. They might lean that way, and he's got that red ball experience. But Umesh Yadav, I think, has done well in his games in England in the past as well. So you might go Unadkat for the left arm angle, but yeah, there's a case for all of them, to be honest. And it'll be really interesting to see the conditions and how India approach it, because I think India have been criticised in the past about their selections.
Yeah.
So if they can nail it and get it right in this game, then they're going to be hard to beat for sure.
Yeah, and there is a question for you regarding Shardul Thakur from Manoj Anderson. Hey, Crick Blog, do you think Shardul Thakur is very overrated? He has done nothing in IPL, not good enough to bowl nor with the bat. So, your thoughts on it?
I mean, he's done very well. The last maybe 2020 and 2021, he was coming up with big wickets for India regularly. So I mean, there's something about him. He's a good cricketer. I just think in the IPL, I don't know how KKR wanted to use him. They didn't bowl him, and then they batted him at number 8. So and they spent 10 crores on him. It made no sense at all. You bring him over from Delhi for 10 crores or whatever it was, and then you don't play him really. You bat him at 8 and you don't bowl. So I think it was just more the KKR management didn't use him properly rather than him being overrated. I think when it comes to red ball cricket, he's definitely got something about him. He can move the ball, he can get you the important wickets, get you the breakthroughs. What he produced a few years ago, it wasn't a fluke. It's something he's capable of doing. So I think if India pick him, Australia have to be very careful.
Okay. We have picked Ajinkya Rahane as a number five batter for this big match, saying he has got experience. He did well in domestics, little bit good in domestic against some side, and he has good records against Australia too. We picked him over Suryakumar Yadav, who didn't had a good outing against Australia in ODIs as well as in the one Test match he played. We picked him over Sarfraz Khan, who is doing well in the domestic. So, as an Australian fan, what is your point of view seeing Ajinkya Rahane Indian Test team back after 17 months?
Yeah, the experience is very important. And I know it's a different format, but in T20 cricket, he was playing with a lot of freedom and confidence. And I think if he has that a really clear mind, I think he can be very, very handy for India. So they brought him back for this game. They put a lot of faith in him. I think he'll play. He'll
Yeah.
play for that experience in a big game. So if he plays with that, a really clear mind and a good focus, he can do the job. Similar to what he did at the MCG a few years ago. If India can get similar sort of innings from him, it's going to be a hard game for Australia. So yeah, big game for Rahane.
And hopefully Ajinkya and all the batters on the bowlers they do well for us and India
Yeah,
go
they
on.
usually do against Australia, man. I'm sick of it. Yeah,
So that's
yeah,
all what I hope. And even Rohit Sharma will look to score big because his IPL didn't went well. He's playing Test match after a very long time. He played a Border Gavaskar Trophy, but playing a overseas Test after a long time. So he will also think to score big. And against Australia, he loves to score in white ball. So even in the BGT, he scored 100.
yeah. And Rohit did very well in England as well. He's done well in the country. I think he averages over 40. So, that's
Yes,
very good.
he has the
That's
highest average in this team.
Yeah, that's fantastic for an opener in those conditions because, of course, you face the swinging ball and then the ball swings all day as well sometimes. And he's done very well. I think he really improved how he plays overseas. So, and that's the thing though, whether he can adjust from all the white ball stuff that he's been playing into the red ball quickly enough. That's the
Yeah,
big question for Rohit and for India, in my opinion, because you got the intensity of the IPL. That's an insane tournament,
yeah,
and you're practicing T20 cricket and getting and you're practicing hitting your sixes and your fours, and then playing against the white ball in good batting conditions for most of the tournament. You saw how many 200 plus scores there were. Now you got to go to England and play in a final of a World Test Championship against a good attack. That's going to be the big question for India.
yeah.
So we'll see.
We are coming off from IPL, and then question is coming for you. Quick block. Do you think Australia will not take Rahane seriously, and he will hit 100 after seeing his clarity in IPL?
Man, it would be silly if Australia don't take him seriously. He scored 100 against us at the MCG, a few years ago. That turned the series.
Yeah.
We know about Rahane. He's done it before against us. So, and we know been in good form in the IPO. He's playing with confidence and he's playing with freedom. So we're going to have to be on our game. Australia won't take anyone lightly. They know. Australia haven't beaten India in a Test series for what? How many years? Since
Uh,
2014,
in
I think.
2014, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
2014
So
was the last.
if you're going to take a team lightly who've beaten you for the last 10 years, then I think everyone needs to be sacked. Seriously, So yeah, Rahane will be an important player for the team, but of course the India top order, Pujara and Kohli, they're very very important as well. Kohli fantastic form in the IPL, but again, is very capable of transferring that to the test arena. So
Yeah.
as I mentioned before, hopefully Pat Cummins can do the job. Hopefully.
No, no, I don't hope that. I hope Virat Kohli was scoring big, and he loves scoring big against Australia. That
Look, I
169.
love yeah, I love Virat, and I think he's a wonderful player. But I hope he just stays quiet in this game, and then he can come good later.
He's player of big matches, so he's not going to
Yeah,
stay quiet in this game. So I was just about to talk about Virat Kohli. He's coming off a very good IPL. His white ball form was fantastic, and the last Test match he played in Ahmedabad, he scored 100 against Australia. And Australia is a team which in India we talk that Australia is scared of Virat Kohli. Like we say Pakistan is scared of Virat Kohli, we similarly say that Australia is scared of Virat Kohli. So I want to listen from you that do you guys really scared about Virat Kohli after whatever he has done against the Australian team in Test matches or even the white ball?
I don't think the thing with Australia, we're not scared of anyone, and that's been the thing for many years. We don't look at and say we're fearful of you, but we love the challenge. So when we come up against a great player, whether it's been Tendulkar over the years, Brian Lara, we've always loved the battle, and that's been, and we always appreciate it and come up with players, and Virat Kohli is one of them. But I know Pat Cummins and the team will look at that as a challenge and try find ways and try look at his weaknesses. Maybe just focus on that off stump line. Virat Kohli loves to feel bad on ball, so just test him just on that fourth, fifth stump line and try bring the slips into play. But yeah, they won't be scared, but they'll definitely, of course, be very much focused and try to get him out early and have very, very clear plans to him.
Okay, and we will be hoping that India get Steve Smith and Labuschagne both out as soon as possible.
Yeah, definitely. Those two players are crucial, and Marnus, I think, when he came in the Ashes 4 years ago in England, he performed well. And of course, we all know about Steve Smith. But as I think India will have plans for those players as well. I think it'll be a very, very well thought out contest, and teams, both teams have some excellent cricketers with, very smart. So, yeah, I can't wait for the battles.
Okay, and then Dheeraj Gupta has sent a question for you. In this game, I will be looking forward to Ajinkya Rahane as he might have one more chance to become captain of Indian Test team post Rohit Sharma. What Charbel think about this?
I can't see that happening. How old is Rahane now? 33, 34?
34, I think. He will be turning 34 on 6 June or 35.
No, he can't be captain after Rohit at that age. No, no. But he can still contribute with the bat, and that's the key for India. If he can contribute with the bat. But after Rohit finishes up, I think, Rahane, I don't know if he'll even be playing Test cricket at that point. So, yeah, can't see him being captain.
Yeah. And then another question for you, that what matters more for Australia and Cummins, Ashes or Test Championship final?
Why not both? I'm not picking and choosing. Australia don't pick and choose. We want to win everything. That's our attitude. For us, this championship final was very important. It's an opportunity to add another trophy into the cabinet, and then of course the Ashes. Look, that's the most important series for Australia. I will say that, but I know the team will be gunning for both, and the Australian public will expect the Australia team to push hard for both. It's not one or the other; it's both.
Okay. And in this finale, two young, amazing, talented players are going to be part of this final, as I said. So Cameron Green and Shubman Gill both had a great IPL. Cameron Green is a fantastic batter as well as a bowler, and Shubman Gill has that historic 91 at Gabba. So how are you looking forward to these two exciting talents?
Cameron Green's my favourite player. So when he had a bit of a slow start to Test cricket, there was some
Yeah.
calls from other fans to say we should drop him, but I was always quick to comment and reply and defend him and say this is a player you stick with. He's a champion. Um, but again, the question for him, like a few of the India players, is how can he adjust quickly after
Yeah.
playing in the IPL? He was excellent, and then Shubman Gill similar. But how good is Shubman Gill? He's such a good player. Smashed the runs for Orange Cap. I think the second most runs in IPL history. So
Yes.
look, again, for him, if he can play with good technique and be patient against the new ball, that's going to be the big test. It's not a white ball that comes onto the bat nicely. It's a bit different. But yeah, he's got the talent and the quality to do well in this game. I look forward to seeing him play too.
Yes, and when you play in England, then slip fielders become a huge part of the game. Same thing as Manoj saying that Ajinkya will take good catches in slip, and Australia will also hope Steve Smith continues his good form in slip catching. Although I think against
100%.
India, he don't take those good catches.
100%. In a game like this, you got to be taking catches. So if there's a drop by Rahane in the slips, I'll search up Manoj Anderson on Twitter and comment, say something to him.
Okay,
he's,
so
he's
I hope
called
he
that
does a good.
he's called that there's gonna be no drops in the slips. So we'll see. But he is very good. He is very good, Rahane in the slips for sure.
Yeah, so we will be hoping for a great game, guys. If you have any more questions, you can ask, because I had my limited question I have asked to Charbel regarding all the players, and also if you have any questions, you can ask. And Charbel, if you have any views regarding this finale, you can share more.
Yeah, I think the main thing is hopefully the weather is good for it. We want a good contest. I think it'll be a great contest. And runs on the board first up is going to be very important in what could be a dry pitch at the over that takes turn later in the game, or reverse swing or anything like that. So yeah, I can't wait. I'm so excited, and I hope Australia can win and get that mace, put it in the trophy cabinet. It'll be really nice.
Okay, I think WTC is the only trophy which Australia is yet to win.
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay, and one more question is that what do you think about Australian women cricket team?
Yep.
How can India come close to it? India women team, how can we come close to it?
You have been getting close to it already. You've pushed
Yeah.
Australia how many times the last few years? The issue for India is actually just getting over the line. I think the women's Premier League is going to be a great thing for Indian women's cricket, because I think in the next year or 2 years you're going to start seeing an Indian side with a lot more depth to it. I think the thing is at the moment is when Australia get through India's key players, Harmanpreet Kaur and Mandana and these players, there's not a lot to come after them sometimes in the Indian team. So when you get players that can be good lower down the order and you've got a more all-round team, that's when you can beat Australia regularly. But even now, India are getting really close. And there's been some games over the last few years. I look at the Commonwealth Games final last year, and then
Yes.
this year, the semi final. India have been in positions to win those games, but they've fallen short. They don't know how to finish it off. So I think once they get that win against Australia, they're going to win a few more regularly. I think they're getting close. So it's up to this Australian women's team, which is a great team, to find ways to continue to stay on top and win. That's going to be the challenge.
Yes. So guys, that's it for this video. Now we hope for a great WTC final. Hopefully the best team wins. Hopefully India wins and Charvel will be saying Australia win. But yeah, as neutral cricket supporters and genuine cricket supporters, we will hope for a great game without any rain interruptions, which usually happens in England. So that's it for this video. Thanks a lot for joining. Thank you, Charvel, for coming. Thank you for giving your time. Hope you
Thank you.
enjoyed the session.
Thank you. Talk soon.
Yeah. Bye bye. Thank you, guys.